Good morning, stock traders, and welcome back to another day with Stock Traders Talk Radio. I'm your host, Stock Sumo. Thanks for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday, June 27th, 2012. And you know what time it is, folks. It's time to top off your cup of coffee here with Stock Traders Talk Radio as we begin to look through the markets. So open up your charts, turn on those scanners, and fire up your trading accounts. Joining us on this morning's program, we have Haas.
What up, brother Sumo?
What's up, my man? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. As always, just enjoying life, or trying to. Day to day, bro. How are you?
Good. Day to day. I like that. One day at a time, baby. Baby steps.
That's right.
Also, joining us on this morning's program, we have Sifakia. What's up, man?
Aloha, Sumo. I don't know if anybody heard your
night.
intro, because your intro was getting played by our intro, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it's all good. I was thinking about you last night. I was watching watching some surfing. The Red Bull surfing challenges.
Oh, nice.
Man,
Where's that at? Down at Trestles?
Yeah, or what was it? Began with a T. It was SoCal. Was it
Lowers, Trestles.
Lowers. That's
Yep.
where it was.
Good stuff. I've always wanted to surf there. Never did it.
Those Brazilians were nasty with it. This one Brazilian ended up walking away with the trophy. The trophy was really cool. They give you this 14 karat gold, solid gold spike.
Oh, man.
It's worth like 35 grand on top of the $45,000 prize money that you get.
That's nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah, man. I love the stuff. Some of these events that Red Bull hosts, really extreme stuff, man. It was fun to watch. Well, we know everybody shows up for one thing and one thing only. They want to hear
Level 2 action.
They want to hear about stocks. They want to see the charts. They want to know about the action. So we're going to get into some fun today. I know Haas has got a spotlight, so I'm going to pass it over to you, and you can take it away.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Yeah, got a little spotlight this morning. I got a couple of private messages begging me, absolutely begging me, down on your knees, begging me to spotlight ALZM Medical Holdings, ticker ALZM. All right, this one is definitely an interesting one, and I probably need about 2 more weeks to actually read through all the filings over the last couple of years here. If you pull the chart way back, this thing started trading at about, I think like $1 or $2 or something like that in early 2011. And so this thing has definitely been beaten down to sub-penny land over the last couple of years, and there's a couple reasons for that, which I will definitely be going over. But just taking a look at this little chart here on DD Amanda, just to start things off, we can see that beaten down to some lows around the 0.005 area, half a penny. But as of the last, probably month or so here, we can see it's on a little bit of an uptrend as people anticipate some news coming, which we will also go over. So I just wanted to briefly take a look at DD Amanda before we get into some of the bits and pieces of the filings and news that's been coming out lately. Looks like it's sort of on an uptrend as people speculate. So let's move over to the iHub. I want to start things off by saying, yes, this is a medical company. We've been on a little medical kick the last couple of days. Yesterday was a fun day talking about some of those stocks. So we'll keep on point with that with the spotlight this morning. The first press release that I want to go over is one that they released about mid-June here on June 14th, 2012. ALZM Medical Holdings announced a settlement with a former subsidiary. Because this kind of just sets the stage and is a nice little summary of what's been going on over the last couple of years. ALZM Medical Holdings today announced that it has completed the resolution of all remaining matters with Oregon Transport Systems Incorporated, its former subsidiary, which it disposed of in February 2012. All right, so this is basically summing up all of the issues with ALZM Medical Holdings over the last 2 years that's caused its stock to be battered down to nothing. This little subsidiary that they started basically right when they IPO'd or changed their name to ALZM Medical Holdings in early 2011. They acquired this medical diagnostic thing or this medical technology and formed this subsidiary, Oregon Transport Systems Incorporated, to house that technology. And they were just experiencing all kinds of issues with share exchange agreements during the entire process. And in late 2011 or early 2012, they were just like, screw this. And they've basically been having some legal issues trying to transfer the shares of this organ transplant systems back to its former owners and get rid of this technology and this subsidiary in general. So going over the rest of this press release, as previously announced, ALZM entered into a letter of agreement on May 1st, 2012 with Healthcare of Today Incorporated, Oregon Transport Systems, Inc., and Heartland Capital Corporation, as part of which ALZM agreed to transfer and convey to Heartland all of ALZM's interests in the guarantee and pledge agreement. You know what? I'm not even going to read over all this because you just have to read it yourself to understand it. Anyways, basically the gist of it is all these companies here were involved in transporting the assets of Oregon Transport Systems to ALZM Medical Incorporated. Something didn't work out, so now ALZM Medical Incorporated is transferring Oregon Transport Systems Incorporated back to its former owner, and that's not going to be the focus of ALZM Medical Holdings. That sums it up in a nutshell. This is just all the fine details. It involves share exchange agreements. It involves certain sorts of debts, but basically everything to do with Oregon Transplant or Transport Systems Incorporated, gone. Not a part of ALZM Medical Holdings anymore. But a couple of little bits that I want to read from the bottom here. Let's see here. Right here. On May 18th, 2012, we entered into a written letter of intent to acquire an existing medical device manufacturing and distribution company with a medical device product already in the market through multiple outlets. This letter of intent was subject to preparation and execution of a final definitive acquisition agreement and normal due diligence subsequent to the execution of the letter of intent and prior to the completion. The principal of this target company attempted to renegotiate the proposed acquisition. So they tried to renegotiate, and ALZM Medical didn't like it. So the letter of intent has now expired. It's past due. This acquisition is also off the table. So again, ALZM, botching another acquisition. Go figure. But this little key point down here is what people are speculating on, and probably one of the reasons why this stock has been creeping up over the last couple of weeks. ALZM is again actively seeking new acquisitions to complement its existing operating subsidiaries. We will go over the main existing operating subsidiaries soon here. And the previously announced acquisition of BioCube Incorporated, another recent acquisition, which is expected to close before the end of June. So this is one thing people are speculating on in the very near future, the closing of this BioCube Incorporated acquisition. And we'll go over exactly what BioCube does in a second here. ALZM has entered into discussions to acquire 2 other identified target companies and hopes to enter into acquisition letters of intent in June. So this is a key paragraph from this press release right here. Not only can we expect to close the acquisition of this BioCube Incorporated by the end of June here, we also have 2 other identified acquisition targets, and we can hopefully expect some news related to that in the near future. It says letters of intent by the end of June here. but we probably won't see them both before the end of June, considering June's coming to a close very shortly. But this is instantly like 3 or 4 press releases that people are kind of speculating on right now, and why we're seeing that, in my opinion, why we're seeing the small uptrend towards the end of June here. All right, so positive short-term things, hopefully, unless they botch another deal, which they have several times already, so keep that in mind. I wouldn't be surprised to see a press release of them botching another deal. But short-term, lots of positive things coming right there. Now let's go check out some details on some of these subsidiaries that they did mention right there. And then we'll go take a look at the quarterly report. Let's see if I can find this guy here. All right, 1/9/2012 is what I want. I don't need this page. Excuse me as I search for my press release that I want. All right, right here, current report filing. Okay, January 9th, 2012. I believe this is the BioCube one. Yes, it is. We have entered into an acquisition agreement with Elon Health Services Incorporated. This Elon Health Services Incorporated, just a little note here, is a majority shareholder in ALZM Medical Holdings. And any deal that ALZM Medical Holdings makes, in order for Elon to maintain that majority holder status, they get 60% of any shares that are like issued in the acquisition processes, which ALZM carries out. So Elon Health Service Incorporated will always be a majority shareholder, and I believe those are restricted shares as well. So they're not necessarily selling those into the market. But anyways, this acquisition here, dated as of December 28th, 2011, pursuant to which we will acquire BioCube Incorporated, a Nevada corporation, which will then become our wholly owned subsidiary. So this is one of the acquisitions we just mentioned that they're trying to close by the end of June here. And there's details on this specific transaction. Again, the acquisition processes that ALZM Medical Holdings actually uses, it always seems like it's a runaround, complicated process, but in essence, BioCube is going to become a wholly owned subsidiary of ALZM Medical Holdings. The operating technology of BioCube Incorporated is actually in a company called BooooooooooM right now, but we're acquiring it, or ALZM is acquiring it, I should say. So that's the gist of it. Anyways, this BioCube, or BooooooooooM development stage company, which plans to research, design, manufacture, market, and distribute an environmentally safe decontamination system utilizing an aerosol-based delivery method with its Russian research partners. So basically, this BioCube Incorporated is going to be an operating subsidiary utilizing an aerosol-based environmental decontamination system technology. And this can relate into the healthcare market to help prevent infections in hospitals and elsewhere, microbial and fungal cells, spores, viruses, to help prevent such infections as MRSA, avian flu, swine flu, and other common mold-based infections and different types of things like that. So that's one of the operating subsidiaries that will be within ALZM Medical Holdings, hopefully in the near future. And people are hoping to hear some news on the final acquisition of BioCube Incorporated by the end of June here, or close to it. All right, so that's one of the main operating subsidiaries we got here. Let's go check out the other one, SureScreen Medical Corporation. And for that, I want to go back to a 2011 press release on 9/28/2011. Let's click on that guy. Running out of breath. ALZM Medical Holdings launches a new subsidiary in its latest steps to advance HPV diagnostic technology. ALZM Medical Holdings, Inc. today announces the launching of its new wholly owned subsidiary, SureScreen Medical Incorporated. All right, and this is back in late 2011 that they started this. So this is one of their more advanced technologies and subsidiaries, and probably the most promising in my opinion as well. SureScreen Medical will be responsible for taking ALZM's HPV, which is human papillomavirus. I'm sure most of you have read about it if you've read anything related in health magazines or anything like that lately. It causes cervical cancer in women. SureScreen Medical will be responsible for taking ALZM's HPV diagnostic technology through the appropriate trials and federal clearances. The subsidiary will then coordinate the strategy for a powerful market launch. ALZM is moving quickly following its announcement that it is acquiring SureScreen and other see and treat technology for on-the-spot diagnosis of human papillomavirus, HPV. HPV is linked to a number of cancers in both men and women. Given the size and scope of the technology's applications, a subsidiary is appropriate to orchestrate the process. All right, so this is their other operating subsidiary. The HPV-related market is actually quite large. This is a non-invasive screening test, basically, which is as good or better than anything on the market, but obviously it has to go through all the testing processes before the FDA gives clearance for this to actually be used in hospitals. So they got a long ways to go before this thing can actually hit the market, but it's something, and there's the second main operating subsidiary that ALZM Medical will have in the near future here. Well, actually, that they do have, I should say. I'm sorry. All right. So, moral of the story, they've had a lot of botched acquisitions over the last couple of years, and that's resulted in some issues, lawsuits, yada, yada. But BioCube Incorporated, SureScreen Medical, their two main operating subsidiaries, provided they actually close this BioCube Incorporated acquisition in the near future here. But both of those hold some pretty cool technologies with some pretty cool applications in the healthcare market. And if they actually do reach the market and get through all the testing processes, could be really big for ALZM Medical Holdings. Let's just go and check out the 10Q real quick. Just check out the balance sheet, something that I always like to do, and also get an idea of the current share structure. So looking at the 10Q right now, as of April 23rd, 2012, there were 373,933,918 shares, basically 374 million shares of outstanding common stock. And as we will briefly see in this 10Q, that's another reason why this stock has been hammered down to sub-penny land. When it initially changed its name and came out in early 2011, I believe there was like 50 million shares, maybe even half that. So they have been diluting the absolute piss out of this stock. Lots of convertibles have hit the market, and they've been raising money like crazy, as all of these small biopharmaceutical biotechnology stocks do. You know, they need money for research and development. They're not bringing in any revenues. They got to raise money somehow. Some of them do it in very, very toxic ways. Some of them do it in less toxic ways, but frankly, they're all toxic ways. So basically what you need to do with these early stage biotech companies is time them properly, which I've said a million times on this show. Even with stocks on the big boards, you know, these biopharm stocks that are just beaten down. And you got to be careful of dilution at all times. You got to be on your toes. All right, let's go check out this balance sheet. 6 months ended February 29th, 2012 versus the 6 months ended August 31st, 2011. Assets, yeah, about $500,000 to $750,000 assets here, as we can see. Liabilities, just over $1 million in liabilities. I fully expect liabilities to be higher than assets on a biotech stock at this stage. And frankly, that's not all that ridiculous. I expected it to be worse. But anyways, share structure says 312 here. As we saw it there, it's already up to 374 million. So just over like the last 3 months, they've diluted another 50 million shares. Dilution continues. Another reason for the batter down, as I mentioned. Not going to go over that. This just kind of shows since inception, starting at about 50 million shares, where all these this other stock is coming from. Converted notes, converted notes, converted notes, converted notes, all at cheaper prices than the stock was trading at the time, all the way up to 312 here, and now it's at 374, as we mentioned. So lots and lots and lots of dilution. Not something you'd like to see, but it's basically a necessary evil for this company throughout the last couple of years, as they've been trying to figure out what the hell they're going to do. All right. Yeah, net loss a lot. We've already went over the operating subsidiaries, so I don't really want to go over all this. And we already went over the Organ Transplant Systems Incorporated subsidiary. That was basically just an epic fail as far as bringing it into ALZM. So they got rid of that, and they just put out the press related to, finally getting rid of that, and no more legal issues related to that, which is actually a positive. And the only other thing that I wanted to go over in this particular 10Q, I'm not going to go search for it, is that there's going to be a lot of Asher Enterprises convertible notes hitting the market around right now or within the next few months. We mentioned Asher several times on this show. They do a lot of toxic financings for these smaller companies on the over-the-counter markets, and they get shares very, 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 very cheap compared to people buying on the open market. So when those converts hit, usually they end up selling and at a significant profit to them, but to the detriment of the stock itself. So be very, very careful. And this company is definitely going to need money in the very near term to carry out the tests and regulatory processes for their technologies within their subsidiaries. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more dilution in the near future. The authorized share count, I believe, is 500 million shares right now. So they got a little bit of room to dilute up to that point. I wouldn't be surprised to see an authorized share count increase either. Just a note. All right, so negatives. We have an early stage biotech company. They're raising some funds through some toxic financing processes. They've been diluting the piss out of this for the last couple of years. So you got to be on your toes if you plan to play this stock. All right. Positives. They've sort of kind of figured out what they want to do. They have their SureScreen medical technology related to the human papillomavirus, which I believe is a very big up-and-coming market as the medical field actually becomes more and more aware of it. Huge potential there if they can get their technology to the market. But again, that's going to be a long-term process. It's going to be a costly process. We'll see if they can pull it off. Another positive, hopefully BioCube Incorporated acquisition completes at or near the end of June here. People are speculating on that. Again, that's why we're seeing the recent uptrend, in my opinion. And also mentioned in one of the more recent press releases, they have a couple other acquisitions that they're looking to close, not close, letter of intents, near or at the end of June here. So people are speculating on news related to that as well. So basically with this stock, it's exactly what I would expect for an early stage biotech stock. We got lots of negatives, but we also have lots of positives for the near future. And these biotech, biofarm stocks can make some major, major, major runs despite a lot of the negatives involved with these companies. And we've seen it many, many, many times. But rest assured, if this stock makes a run in the near future, which it very possibly could, it's going to come back down. So in my opinion, if you're going to trade this one, trade it. Flip the living piss out of it. Let's take a look at the chart. Who's got it?
All right, I'll bring it up here. We're going to take a look at the old 6-month chart. And you can see back here in February, there is some big volume. You had the move up from, looks like 0.73 up to 0.335, and had a down slope, caught support here around the penny mark. Maybe this is 009-ish, and ran up to 0.24, and she's been on a down slope since until it caught this bottom here at 0.005, and that's our support level here. It says the support level is 0.045 according to stock charts. Of course, this is where we're at. This is where we always go for our charts, for that matter. Notice that the 20-day moving average is starting to curl up. That's a positive sign, and the stock is holding above that 20-day moving average. Once she broke below that, it had a tough time getting above it right here. It ran into that resistance off of the low, and then boom, she broke above that support. Saw a nice pop all the way up to 0.129 recently off that low of 0.005. So nice, 180% gain or so, 150 to 180% gain off its lows. Then we're seeing a consolidation and some sideways trading, but it's holding support over that 20-day moving average, which is key. So we want to continue to see that 20-day moving average hold as support. If this 20-day moving average continues to curl up and can punch through these other moving averages, that's known as a golden cross. We're looking for that. That'll be good. So let's take a look at the RSI. RSI is currently on a downslide. It looks like it wants to bounce off the 50. It did it before right here. As long as it holds above the 50 line, that's a positive sign. And I want to see it hold above this 50 overlay. So that's a good sign that it's above that. All the indicators are looking good because they're above this 50 overlay. As long as they hold above this 50 overlay, that holds strength. You got the PPO looking like they want to possibly converge soon. If this line can turn around and separate, that'll be a good sign. We like to see divergence to the top side. And the slow stow, I'd like to see that bounce off of this 50 line and head back up. So all these indicators need to turn back up, go to the top, get up in the power zone. Maybe we'll see a breakout if that could happen. All right, that's what I got for the chart. Let's see what we got for pre-market. We got a minute before the bell here. We got EWRL gapping up pre-market. That was the one we caught yesterday. It was a big promo. We didn't happen to know that when we caught it. Definitely think about locking those profits in here at the open on this gap up, trading at 66.5 cents. And boom, there's the bell.
Thank you for that chart, Stock Sumo.
BBDA up pre-market here. Trading nice volume, 23 million. Man, Haas, another well-timed spotlight, my friend. What was it when we were talking about it?
Trip 6, my man.
Trip 6. EWRL taking a slide back just as I anticipated. You got to lock in those profits on the gap up. EWRL going back now. Looks like it's trying to bounce, but again, this is that big promo play, and sometimes these things can get ugly after such a big run up. What else do we got on the old scanner?
Let's check these bad boys.
PROF, Patriot Mine Finder. It's up 25% on 100,000 shares, last traded at 23 cents.
What's going on here, man? You might have found one.
ENTR was gapping up pre-market. That's on the NASDAQ. But yeah, what is that PROF doing here?
I don't know. I like Vert on the bid.
Sure.
I'm going to go check out if they got any recent news. I don't know anything about it. Not a ton of volume, but a little bit. Looks like we got some initial statements of beneficial ownership out yesterday. Usually when you see those, there's news shortly to follow. Got a few of them out there. I'm going to check out DDUMAN to see what sort of recent volume we got on this sucker. I'm guessing it's a new-ish issue. Yeah, it looks like they came out around 50 cents here. Lots of trading in that low 40s. Had a couple of days in early June with 130 and 208,000 in volume. Kind of quieted down a lot. It kind of dwindled down a little bit here, so might be one to keep an eye on if some volume comes in.
Here's one that's got an E on the end of it that's up 75%. DGHGE must have taken a slid back because they got the E appendaged on it. They must be delinquent on their filings, need to get caught up. DGHGE.
Man, needs some water. I'm keeping an eye on that PROF. I really like Bird on the bid there.
Yeah, 55,000 on the bid. Nice size.
Well, he just got hit. Oh, there he moved. I was going to say, he just got hit with that and nothing happened. All right, let's check out some other stuff here.
Oh, nice bidder on Thwapper. 300,000 shares on the bid at 0365.
Where was that thing trading at yesterday when we were watching it?
THWI?
Yeah.
It ended up hitting a high of like 0433.
Okay.
But not bad from the support of 026 that I called way back when. It was like a week and a half ago. I did an annotated chart and threw it out there on our board.
Oh, for sure. That's a nice fatty 300,000 share bid sitting there too. I like it.
And I said if it could get above that support at the resistance at 037, then she could do well. And she got above it yesterday. Let's see if she can hold above that.
Looks like, did you say UCHC yet? Looks like that one's getting a little bit of action again this morning. We'll check it out in a second here.
PFND, Pathfinder, sell, Paul, Frank, Nancy, David. It's up on 10 trades, 30%, 177,000 shares, last traded at 039.
TTDZ getting some action this morning. Looks like they put out some press, 7.6 million in volume, 0013 last trade, up 8.3%. Let's go check out that news. This one's been a volatile trader's paradise. Looks like there's subsidiaries to acquire a public company. Interesting. Let's see here. Privileged Inc., TTDZ subsidiary, is in negotiations to acquire the controlling interest in a publicly trading company on the over-the-counter markets exchange. Privileged Inc. is planning and arranging to merge with the public company following the acquisition.
SUPN, our little banger from yesterday, is doing well again today.
1344. Yeah, this one's an interesting one.
Arna, this thing's been making crazy bounces lately, man. I'll tell you what, it's been a day trader's paradise.
What's she trading at right now?
Currently, she's 898 by 899. It was as low as 886, as high as 915. But the other day when it topped out over 10 bucks, man, they dipped it to like 8s and then ripped it back up to like 10.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this thing to get halted. Probably be halted for several hours before that FDA decision comes out.
Ooh, that'll leave a lot of people in suspense.
Yeah, well. Including me.
eBig is one that caught my eye as a pre-market volume active, and this thing's been on a wicked tear. That's EBIG. It's been as low as 2.5 cents in the month of May, and we're up to, it was as high as 11. It was actually, when I saw it pre-market, it was gapping up to like 13 cents, and there were some trades going off. It dipped to fill the gap a little bit. They're showing a huge offer up there at 10 cents. Currently 091 by 10. But it's in blue sky mode pretty much. It's, you know, looking at just the 6 month. Let's take it back a couple of years. AHFD is trading some good volume. It's up 31%. Last trade at 0101. Active Health Foods, 4.3 million volume. That's 36 trades on the day. It's a gain of 1/4 of a penny.
Whoa. Some weird stuff going on with Universal Bioenergy. It says it closed yesterday at 001.
Huh.
It says up 1,100% on the level 2 screen. Now this one's been trading at 1.2 for a long time. I don't know what happened there. Must have been a weird trade that went through right before the market closed yesterday.
I'm seeing it's up 20% on 1 million shares, 28 trades on the day. It's 0119 last traded. EWRL bounced back. Look at that. She bounced back strong at 70 cents now. Going to the high of day.
EWSI, E-Waste Systems Incorporated, getting some action again this morning. 381,000 traded. Last trade at 4.4 cents, up 25.7%. Not a huge fan of spread, 4.3 by 5 cents.
SUPN broke $14. It's up to the high of day of 14.18. Man, this thing was awesome. $8 pre-market yesterday when Haas was talking about it. Bam, Siffy was able to get in the day before on Haas's hunch. And whee!
I think it was last week that I told Siffy about it. I told him to pull up the chart for me.
Nice. 14.25 right now. It was as low as 12.75 this morning. Looks like they're going to try to take it back up to yesterday's high of day, just over 15 bucks. If it could get through that resistance at just over 15 from yesterday, we'll see how high it could go, but there's no telling really. It's up to 14.50 now. SUPN just beasting.
Yeah, this one basically has a 5 million float, and they were supposed to have FDA PDUFA dates in later July and also in October. And so they got the preliminary FDA approval yesterday, and that's basically just pending on some negotiations related to exactly what sort of treatments they can use in the pediatric field or something, a pediatric subpopulation. So it's basically approved. They're just working out the fine details. I honestly don't know how high this one can go. But it's been fun so far.
I'll tell you what, 1475's up, and boom, that's a nice $2 move from the low a day. You could have gotten in, made a nice quick 15%. You're not making that at the bank this year. And interest rates are really low right now. Your money's not doing well in the bank accounts, that's for sure.
BBDA trying to trump these 0018s here.
51 million in volume.
Yeah, got about 6 million left on the ass there at 0018. Couple million in bid sport on the 0017.
Here's a little subby that's rolling. CQPT, Conquest Petroleum. Charlie Q Papa Tango.
Nice. I've actually heard some chatter on a couple boards on that one. I believe it's a pretty nice share structure. I'm not sure exactly what else is going on with it, though.
Well, its daily range is between 0012 and 0045.
Oh, wow.
Currently showing a spread of 0023 by 004, so kind of a weak spread, needs to tighten up a bit. EWRL is in beast mode right now. It just hit the high a day of 73 cents. We caught this one on the old scan tip yesterday. Saw it pull back to the 40s, and boom, she's just been a beast. And yesterday traded a ton of volume, closed at the high a day. After we got done doing the radio, I was going through my emails, and I noticed that there is a heavy amount of promotion going on over a I think a $500,000 campaign or more. So, yeah, it's a good thing that they pulled one off, and this one actually, did well. It's good to see stocks going in the right direction and doing well, giving investors out there the opportunity to make profit. It puts a lot of confidence back in the investment community, and I think it's just good all around.
We'll see if they can maintain their guaranteed 3 straight days of green.
I know. I don't know how they can go off on a whim saying that. Look at that. They took SUPN up to the high of 1520, just over yesterday's high a day. Now they're pulling it back. It's at 1452 by 1467. BBDA 0019 at 002. Bam, 250% gain since Haas called it at trip 6.
Yes, sir. Got a nice fat 10 million share ass sitting there through E-Trade on 002. See if they can bust that.
72 million in volume, 116 trades on the day. Nice activity going on there.
Thing is beast.
Okay.
AHFD getting a lot of action. Active Health Foods. Looks like they just put out some news on a GNC deal.
Yeah, I mentioned that one.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Spread 1 cent by 1.05 cents. Got a nice fat 1.3 million share bid sitting on 1 cent there.
Nice.
5.3 million in volume so far, up 25%. Last trade 1 cent.
Yeah, 52 trades on the day.
Wow, 002s are getting hammered. Only 7 million left on the 002 now. Got about 3.5 million on 0019 support.
SUPN is bouncing back. Looks like she's going to go back over 15 bucks here. It's 14.93 up on the offer. Super low float. Only 5 million, you said? Wow.
I think it's actually 4.3. I'm sure it's higher now over the last couple of days, but
CQPT is now showing a 003 offer. That E-Big, that's the one that I mentioned that had gap up this morning and it was trading a lot of pre-market volume. It dipped and filled its gap. That's EBIG, Eastbridge Investments. Dipped and filled its gap. Traded as low as 0.99. Now it's back to 10 cents. It's actually 0.102 by 0.107. 500,000 shares traded on EBIG.
Yeah, it's looking pretty solid.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the makeup up on the old chart.
AHFT getting some upticks here. 1.17 cents by 1.2 cents now. 5.569 million in volume. 48.8% in the green. Last traded 1.19 cents. VNDM is now off the ask. 1.2 by 125 now. Over a million share bid just put up on 1.2 cents. She's rolling.
Yeah, when I first looked at it on the scanner, it had about 2 million in volume. Now we're up to 5.7 million.
What does the chart look like?
Let's take a quick peek at that.
129's hitting, which is up 61.2%. Let's actually go check out this news here.
Oh, she's coming off a nice bottom. And she just broke above the 20-day moving average here back on about the 25th. Looks like she ran across resistance at the 013. That's the 50-day moving average. That's going to be a big break. If we can get above that 013, that's going to be a huge break.
Looks like the GNC has agreed to a 600 store test, which is all their A-list stores.
That's some big news. You know, GNC is a recognizable brand.
And for 2 of the flavors of Active Health Foods Incorporated's Active X energy bars.
Yeah, this is
that's huge news, man.
Yeah, this is an exciting play. I'm glad we caught this one in the old scanner. That's why we got these things going. I'll tell you what, we don't miss anything over here at STT Radio.
We try not to. 1.5s are getting taken out.
1.5s now, no kidding. Well, I said a break of the 013 would be huge. That's the 50-day moving average. Up 87.5%. Last trade at 015. Currently the bid's 0131 by 014. Nice. Yeah, let's take another look at this chart. Some of the moving averages are really looking strong. You got the RSI that just poked through the 50 overlay. It's also trying to get above the 50 line. So that's starting to show some nice strength. Yeah.
Yeah, she's definitely moving here. Keep an eye on her. All right, let's check out a couple other ones here.
BBDA punched through 002. Now it's up to 0022. 95 million in volume.
Wow.
Let's take a look at that chart.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, yeah. She's just in all-out beast mode, folks.
Yes, she is.
Key thing, she broke above this 200-day moving average, and it just hasn't. She hasn't looked back since. And today, the low of day was above yesterday's close. So, just showing a lot of strength on today's candle. And the volume is really good flowing through this stock. So, BBDA, what an awesome call, man.
It's a nicely timed spotlight, that's for sure. No, that company actually has some good things going for it. You know, we mentioned the dilution was stopped. They have the funds they needed, at least near term. They actually have some pretty decent revenues and distribution going on, both within the U.S. and overseas. I would absolutely love to get this guy on the show.
We're going to have to work on that. You know what? Let's look his phone number up right now, and I'm willing to add him to the call and try to give him a ring.
How about not?
No, I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
All right, I'm not talking.
You don't have to talk. That's fine. Oh, they're on the East Coast. We're calling them. If they're a West Coaster, yeah. No. Well, we got about 4 minutes left in the show, so.
AHFD still beasting. 1.56 by 1.6 cents, up 93.8%. Last traded 1.55 cents, 6.3 million in volume. GNC, GNC, beast. Oh, we got orders going through at 1.06 cents with a bid of 1.56. You know there's some fishy stuff going on there. Market maker's going to play games, it looks like. Wow, BBDA 2 2s by 2 3s now. Up 37.5%. 2 2s last traded. 110 milli in volume. AERS looked like it wanted to head much, much higher today. But it's hanging tight at this 1.5 cent mark again. This is the one that was beasting from 005s to 2.53 cents when we were covering it last week. Up 44.2%. 625,000 in volume so far. Keep an eye on it. CMGO, this thing's just been a beast. We spotlighted this one at 1 cent. Everyone anticipating the dividend supposedly coming through their subsidiary. I believe that comes in July sometime. I'd have to check the exact dates, but this thing's still been trucking upwards. Couple of pullbacks, but showing some strength. 3.4 by 3.5 right now. Don't necessarily love Vert on the ask, but he's just showing 5,000. Not exactly sure what he's got. 318,000 in volume so far today, but it's been pretty strong these last few days. Heading into that dividend, so keep an eye on that. BBDA. Wow. 0024 is hitting now. 0023 by 0024 spread. Says the high day was 003, but I'm sure that was just a fluke on the open today. Market makers taking advantage of some order going through or a market maker share exchange or something. But basically hitting the high days here at 0024 right now. 119 million in volume. Wow.
ENTR is the one that I caught on my scanner this morning pre-market, and she's beasting. Pulled up the chart on it real fast. Had a huge gap up this morning. Can you pull that one up? See what they're talking about. They must have had some big news or something.
Entropic Communications. Yeah, I can. ENTR, right?
Yeah. You can see on this chart that it gapped up to these moving averages, and if it can hold this 200-day moving average, and this is right where the 100-day is as well, which is 513, 512, 513. If it can hold above that, it's looking strong. opened as low as 495 and hit a high of 538. So we're at a key pivotal point here.
They just released some positive revenue-related news, just better than expected earnings projections. So that's probably the reason for the bullishness. Upgraded their guidance from about 75 million to about 82 million for the quarter revenue.
Nice. I like how the 20 days curling up towards the 50-day. Got a golden cross here. This 20 days looks like it's passing through this. But with such a large gap up, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down and fill the gap. Look at how large of a gap down you've seen right here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing pull back and fill these gaps eventually.
Wow. All right. What do you say we call it a show, man?
Certainly. Let's take a look at the scanner one more time and see what things are doing. AHFD, would that hit for a high day? 016?
I believe so, yeah.
So backing off a little bit here. UBRG. Yeah, we caught a couple of nice ones today. All right, we'll call it a day.
Cheers.
As always, thanks for tuning in. STT Radio, we're out.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.